In a million bylanes and countless streets, a nation is getting ready to shine. The winds of change have begun to blow, bringing with them a breath of fresh air. In every corner, shackles are being broken and ambitions fueled. And the seeds of every dream finally have a chance to grow. As a nation waited for change, one brave group of men stepped up to the challenge to push beyond the believable and aim for the extraordinary, to change the rules and level the playing field for all, and to unite a billion dreams into one incredible future. This is their story. The quest began in 2002. History was created at the KG Basin on the East Coast, when a huge prospect of gas was discovered deep within the ocean. An offshore terminal was built at Kakinada to handle production. But this wasn't enough to handle the sheer volumes of production. The future looked bright, but the challenge remained. How to turn this incredible potential into reality was one big enigma. The response was nothing short of audacious. The East-West Gas Pipeline, a pipeline that traverses 1,400 kilometers across the states of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Gujarat, cutting across peninsular India, crisscrossing numerous cultures, diverse environments and changing topographies across the harshest and most challenging landscapes. Incorporating 11 compressor stations with an incredible total installed compressor power of over 900 megawatts, built in a record-breaking 36 months from concept to commissioning. The EWPL is a lifeline that delivers an astounding 80 million metric cubic meters of gas per day. The East-West Pipeline is India's first pipeline built under the aegis of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board on the principles of common carrier. The construction of the EWPL witnessed the largest ever mobilization of men, machine and equipment witnessed in the history of the Indian pipeline industry. Work was planned to begin simultaneously on all the 8 mainline work spreads. This made the mobilization of competent contractors with such a large resource requirement a huge challenge. Midway through the project, the decision was made to include more resources in order to meet the time schedule, which had been impacted by factors that were beyond control. This saw the induction of 2 Indian contractors who were provided with RGTIL's own acquired construction equipment. At its peak, there were a staggering number of more than 100 work fronts simultaneously in progress. The EWPL was faced with the task of crossing over 100 major rivers. Out of these, more than 20 crossings posed major challenges, requiring the astute selection of accurate methodology. In order to ensure risk-free construction, some of these crossings posed challenges that were beyond the scope of proven technologies and contractor capabilities. To tackle these extraordinary challenges, Reliance had to conduct extensive geotechnical and hydrological investigations, consult experts, and select the right contractors for the job. The absence of infrastructure at the majority of the crossings meant that it had to be specially created for the movement of heavy equipment and machinery. One such example was the 2,400-meter crossing of the Gothami-Godavari River, a world record in micro-tunneling that was undertaken by Messrs. Zublin of Germany. A 60-meter-long temporary pipe culvert bridge on Midiki Canal was constructed, which provided the only access to the river site. A 3-kilometer-long approach road was then constructed to enable the transportation of two massive 300-ton micro-tunnel boring machines. Access was also created up to the middle of the river for the construction of a 30-meter deep central shaft. This would receive the tunnel boring machines, which would be advancing from different directions and meeting in the middle. The crossing was successfully completed in 12 months, well before the onset of the 2007 monsoon. Another landmark in the construction of the EWPL was the 1,700-meter-long Vashishta Godavari River crossing, which broke the world record for horizontal directional drilling. This ambitious project required a quantum leap in HDD technology and broke the barrier for a 48-inch diameter HDD construction. The challenges for the EWPL continued with the Kalu River crossing, a perennial river with a solid rocky bed. The only possible option was underwater trenching by blasting and installation of prefabricated pipeline string by the float and sink method. What made this site riskier was its position in between two high-tension transmission lines that posed a serious electrical hazard. In a demonstration of amazing skill, a single-piece, 400-meter-long concrete weight-coated string, weighing over 400 tons, was lifted by 11 90-ton capacity side booms, moving in perfect unison. In this manner, the crossing was safely and successfully installed using the float and sink technique. Another snag arose with the crossing of the Makhani River, usually a sleepy river that never exceeded 300 meters in width. Unprecedented monsoons caused it to swell unbelievably to over 1,800 meters, with the depth increasing from the normal 2 meters to over 9 meters. This required massive earthwork to impound the area in 6 compartments by constructing coffer dams. A number of dewatering pumps were simultaneously pressed into action with a cumulative capacity of over 10,000 cubic meters per hour. More than 200 jumbo dumpers were deployed in order to move the earthwork for the coffer dams. It took a strenuous 5 months to finally complete this treacherous crossing. In the end, all the crossings were completed successfully, with many world records being set along the way. Perhaps one of the most daunting phases of the EWPL project was overcoming a 1,400-meter long section of the steep Bhivpuri Ghat with an intimidating elevation rise of 750 meters. Adding to the challenge was the fact that the section was entirely within reserved forest area, with slopes as steep as 70 degrees. For the first time in India, an innovative cable crane system was deployed, through which everything from raw materials to men to machinery were moved. 7 towers with 2 ropeways were installed for the 2 steeps of the Bhivpuri Ghat. Special spider excavators were deployed which could cling to the slopes. Work went on day and night. Almost an entire trench had to be created by blasting, and specialized slope stabilization measures had to be implemented in order to ensure backfill integrity under even the worst environmental conditions. Over 500 RGTIL staff were deployed for construction management, supervision and control at 16 construction sites. At its peak, construction went on simultaneously at 100 separate points and spreads. Two extended monsoons saw the project schedule impacted by over 7 months. Yet this too was overcome by an aggressive recovery plan that saw the deployment of 2 contractors to work at 4 spreads. Further challenges were encountered in about 150 kilometers of marshy and waterlogged stretches along the eastern Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh. To tackle this, over 4,000 composite mats made up of 100 mm thick HDPE webbed sheets were deployed to enable the movement of construction equipment. During the peak of the EWPL construction, more than 10,000 workers belonging to 30 nationalities were deployed. 10 construction camps were set up and fully outfitted to provide a reasonable degree of comfort to staff who were operating in remote and hostile areas and away from their homes and families for extended durations. Working from dawn to dusk severely tested the physical and mental endurance of the teams, who were at times exposed to soaring temperatures above 50 degrees Celsius and over 90% humidity. Dehydration was a threat. In an enterprise of such vast magnitude and record-breaking accomplishments, one can never forget the true heroes of this epic journey, the people on the ground, who despite coming from different backgrounds and cultures, pulled together to make the pipeline a reality. Braving all odds, from harsh weather and unforgiving terrain to language barriers to completely unexpected surprises, they surpassed all expectations and literally changed the face of the country. A little over 3 years from its date of commencement, the East-West Pipeline was finally ready. The pipeline's full design capacity of 80 mmSCMD was tested on 23rd December 2009, and on 15th January 2010, a major landmark was achieved. A cumulative 10 billion SCM was transported with no gas day lost. A modern-day phenomenon of engineering. The EWPL today operates silently beneath the earth, delivering the equivalent of over 20,000 megawatts of energy in the form of 80 mmSCMD of natural gas. As the worldwide race for clean and efficient sources of energy continues, RGTIL has given India a priceless lead, laying down the foundation of a vast new power source that will reach out across the length and breadth of the country, creating exciting new opportunities and vast economic growth wherever it traverses, giving rise to a brand new era of energy for all, with an indomitable spirit to change the paradigms of global power forever.